Hey everyone, SunTide here. Hope you're all doing great. So, in my last video, I spoke all about the new AT rated out armor pieces, why they're so good, and this great, amazing group skill you get on them called Lord's Soul, which gives you like a 5% raw bonus and a whole bunch of other really good effects. But that 5% raw bonus is insane and crazy. However, I did get a few comments asking about some slightly different builds, asking about, why don't I use Gore Magala, or what if I have a build with like the Shia Numinous pieces, or stuff like Arkveld and whatever else. I haven't got one asking for the Anjanath gear, and then I was like, okay, I'll put all of these into like one cool video, and then I got like a text message from my friend of the channel, KJP, who says, I use Powerhouse, and I don't know if anyone else does. And Powerhouse is the set bonus you get from the Doshaguma pieces. So I'm like, well, if I'm not going to do like 5 set bonuses already, may as well do every single one of them. So in this video, we're going to talk about how you can put Lord Soul with every single set bonus and have the best optimal damage for each one, and why that set is good and bad. So today we're covering every set bonus and how it works for Lord Soul, including the one you're thinking of right now. So you like 2 Gravios Protection Flawless Armor Enjoyers who want to have 5% less damage taken at max health? I've got you covered. This is such a strange video. Okay, so brief baseline. We're going to use the same sort of skill uptimes as I spoke about in the last video. I'm only going to be using this one, so I'm not going to do like non-latent power builds or non-maximum might builds because there's a lot of builds we're going to cover already. So assuming you have these uptimes, I think for all of these builds, I put the decoration for sharpness on as Razor Sharp Handicraft, which is good in all situations. But if your affinity is higher than 73, Master's Touch is going to be better than Razor Sharp / Handicraft. So keep that in mind. I haven't put that in the builds, so just keep that in your mind yourself. So yeah, so the builds we're going to cover today, we're going to have 2 Arkveld builds, 1 Blangonga build, 1 for Blossomdance, 2 for Doshaguma, 1 for Gore, 2 for Guardian Arkveld, 2 for Guardian Ebony, Odogaron, 2 for Guardian Fulgur, Anjanath, 1 for Gravios, 1 for Dahaad, 1 for Mizutsune, 1 for Udra, 1 for Rathalos, 1 for Duna, 1 for TU1, and 1 for Shia, and I think that's what? 20 builds. We're going to go through these 20 builds today. We're going to go pretty quick just because they're all going to be pretty similar. So yeah, let's get started. We're going to go through mostly alphabetical order here, and that means we're going to start off with Arkveld. And so I have 2 Arkveld builds to show you, which are ever so slightly different. So the first Arkveld build I'm going to have is going to use the Arkvulcan Mail and Arkvulcan Bam Braces, so the chest piece and the arms. Everything else is going to be the Radau Gamma set pieces, of course. And the second build I'm going to show you is this one, which uses the Arkveld Mail, Beta, and the Greaves Alpha. And the difference between these two is that this first build gets Quick Sheath and Evade Extender, and the second build gets Stamina Surge and Stun Res. So pick whichever one you feel like it. I would suggest that the people who use Quick Sheath, like the longsword, use Quick Sheath, but of course other people can use it for Evade Extender. If you want Stamina Surge and Stun Res, use the other one. So they're 2 pretty good Arkveld builds if you want to use Hasten Recovery, which is the set bonus where if you keep attacking the monster, you gradually heal. Now, next up on the list is Blangonga, and this one is very interesting because, in theory, this is the highest damage build in the game so far, including the single set bonus you get from it called Warcry. So what Warcry does is if you use a single emote, the 2 victory emote, you get a nice +3 raw bonus, which is enough to push this build over. If you exclude the bonus, this build is worse. So yeah. Warcry does also overlap with Demon Powder, so if you're speedrunning and using Demon Powder, this build is useless. And if you don't want to use Warcry all the time, this build is useless. But if you want to use Warcry, then this build is actually optimal over every other build I'm going to talk about today. So yeah, Blango beta pieces on the Mail and the Greaves to get that. This also uses that nice latent power decoration charm, which gives you 3 latent power, which is very nice. So yeah, Blangonga build. There's this one. Next up is Blossomdance. So if you want to keep getting your Blossomdance rewards, this is what you're going to be using. So Sakura-Tide Robe and Greaves, Hakama are the leg pieces. So there's this one. This one, of course, has a whole bunch of nice utility skills because of the Sakura-Tide pieces, and will get you more stuff from when you finish quests, at least for the next week or so. Next up, we have 2 Doshaguma set pieces. So, Doshaguma builds. So this first one is the Guardian Doshaguma Mail and the Doshaguma Greaves, non-Guardian version. And the second build I'm going to show has the Guardian Doshaguma Braces and the Doshaguma Greaves. And the difference between these two is that one of them has 2 more 1 slots to get you 4 1 slots, and the other one has a Evade Extender. So if you want 1 slots, like if you play Longsword, use the one with the 1 slots, and if you like a bait extender, use a one with the extender, naturally. Oh yeah, and what this set bonus does is it gives you more attack when you have an offset attack on the monster. So yeah, if you're a KJP, you may like one of these builds. Anyways, the next one is probably going to be the most controversial one, and that is the set with Gore Magala. And so what Gore Magala set bonus does, or Black Eclipse, is it gives you the Frenzy Virus. And what happens with the Frenzy Virus is that when you recover from it, you get a really nice affinity bonus. Plus 15, up to plus 25 if you have 3 points of antivirus. This set has 3 points of antivirus, from 2 from decorations and 1 from the armor pieces. You use the Gore Vambrace's beta and the Gore Greaves beta, as well as the Agitator chart. Now, this build does less damage than other builds I've already spoken about, than even, for example, the Arkveld build. And that's for a few reasons. One, the Gore pieces, other than Black Eclipse, just aren't that good. They're fine, they got some nice slots, but they aren't that good. They don't have many other good skills. And so, previously it was carried by stuff like being able to use Black Eclipse 2, so 4 Gore pieces, which was really strong, or you could have used that with stuff like Anjanath pieces, which also have other skills and nice slots, and also you always had this sort of 5th armor piece, which could have sort of fixed up the issues. Here, if we're relying on 3 Ray and 2 Gore, you have nothing else to sort of fix your issues. And so, that sort of brings it down. The other thing is that Black Eclipse is nice, but it's not amazing. So bear with me as I say that. So it gives you plus 25 affinity, which is good at max power. And 25 affinity is nice, but you also have other sources of affinity. So, okay, what I mean by that is, say Black Eclipse is active and gives you affinity like, 80% of the time, okay? So that could be 25% affinity 80% of the time, which is very nice. The problem is that you also have other sources that give you affinity. So say Latent Power brings you up to 100% affinity, but say it only works like 20% of the time. Say your uptime for Latent Power is really low, only 20%. Now, Black Eclipse is up 80% of the time. 20% of the time, Latent Power will give you 100% affinity. So 20% of that 80% of the time, for example, Black Eclipse is going to be doing nothing as well. So Black Eclipse is only going to be used for like half the time in this situation. 25% affinity half the time is, again, fine, but not amazing. One more thing. So say, as well, you have Agitator, for example. Say Agitator's up like 80% of the time, and say Agitator gets you up to, say, 90 affinity, right? So that means that 80% of the time, the 25% affinity bonus is only going to be like a 10% affinity bonus, right? So all of these little things make Black Eclipse slightly worse. And I think the last thing that sort of like hammers the nail in the coffin is that affinity sort of has limiting returns already. Like the difference between 0% affinity and 20% affinity is massive. The difference between 80 and 100 is less big because we're already getting a lot of nice affinity already. So yeah, the little extra jump that Black Eclipse gives you is good, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to make this build amazing by any means, and it's not going to outclass the other non-Gore builds anymore. So yeah, if you're really good at making sure that Black Eclipse has maximum uptime, this build is comparable, could occasionally be better, but for most people, I would recommend other builds, unless you just really like Gore. So if you like Gore, go for this one. So yeah, there you go. That's my Gore rant. Okay, cool. Happy? Still watching? Let's keep going. So we have 2 Guardian Arkveld builds we're going to talk about. So there's this first one, which is the Guardian Arkveld Vambraces and the Guardian Arkveld Greaves Alpha. And the second build, which uses the Greaves Beta. And the difference between these 2 builds is that one of them gets you free slots, and the other one gives you Element Absorption. Element Absorption could be very nice if you're using element weapons. If you don't, use the one with 3 slots. Use the beta set. And yeah, so the Guardian Arkveld set bonus, which I personally like, heals you when you break wounds, so it's very nice for passive healing, for sustaining yourself and not having to go away and heal. So yeah, that's the Guardian Arkveld sets. Next up are the Guardian Ebony Odogaron sets. Again, we have 2. So this first one is the Guardian Ebony Male Beta and the Greaves Beta, and the second one uses the Braces Beta and the Greaves Beta. And the difference between these 2 is that one of them has 1 slots and Divine Blessing 1, and the other one has a bait extender and earplugs. So yeah, defense versus utility, I suppose, is the question you got to ask here. And Guardian Ebony Odogaron gives you Burst Boost, which increases the duration of Burst. I haven't calculated this extra uptime you might get in this. So if you really care about this extra uptime, this build could be very good and better than the other ones. So yeah, if you like burst boost, go for this one. Next up on the list is Guardian Fulgur Anjanath. So this one is the Guardian Fulgur Helm and Van Braces. This one gives you second wind, which helps you have higher Maximite uptime, gives you extra stamina, which is not affected by Maximite. So this build is very nice if you're having trouble keeping your affinity up or whatever else, and you still want to use your 3 Maximite, which this build gets you. Next up is going to be Gravios. So this one gives you flawless armor, which reduces the damage you take when you're at max health by 5%. Amazing still. Should be meta, guys. Just use this one. Okay, so this one is not very good, but I think it's a fun build for completion. It gets 1 point of peak performance, which is very nice, and stacks it very well with flawless armor, right? But yeah, so Gravios Male Beta and Gravios Greaves Beta. Next up is the Jin Dahaad set bonus, which has Bind and Counter, which gives you a really good attack bonus after you have a Power Clash, Frost, Blight, or are webbed. So this one is the Dahaad Shard Helm Beta and the Dahaad Shard Greaves Beta. I think this is the first time we aren't using the Sand Helm, actually. So there's that. That's interesting. And yeah, so good if you want to use a lot of Power Clashes or whatever else. So there's this one. Next up is Mizutsune. So this one has Bubbly Dance, which the Bubbly Dance 1, which is the less good one, it basically makes you more resistant to being bubbled by Mizutsune, so wouldn't recommend this one very much. But again, Male Beta and Greaves Beta. So there you go for that one. Next up is going to be New Udra. This one is Bad Blood 1, which has a pseudo Scorcher effect, which doesn't have any interaction with White Flame Torrent. Basically, when you have recoverable health, you occasionally get extra damage as well. So Udra Myra Braces Alpha and the Myra Greaves Beta is your option here if you want Bad Blood. Actually, the damage on the set isn't so bad either. So there's an option for that. Also has 2 speed eating, which is very funny, because the new Udra likes to eat, I suppose. Here's the Rathalos / Scorcher set. So somewhat recommended if you want to use the Xochitl pieces. The Xochitl weapon has some nice interactions with that. A whole bunch of free 1 slots, which is great for longsworders. So yeah, I think I posted this build in the last video as well. So here's your good old Rathalos Scorcher set, one of the best skills in the game. One of the best set bonuses in the game, I would say, right now, thanks to White Flame Torrent. Here's Duna, which has Protective Veil, which gives you nice armor and, only defense bonus right now. When you have your Mantle out, it seems to have weird interactions with Mantles on recovery, so this is pretty good defensive if you care about the defense of that very much. Of course, if you do, you can use a more defense-focused build. This is a damage-focused Protective Veil build, which uses the Wild Braces Beta and the Wild Greaves Beta. Is that what they're called? Okay, doesn't matter. So this is with Duna set. 2 more left, so we have the Shu Wu set. So this one has Protein Fiend, which gives you a nice attack bonus after you eat a well-done steak, with the Van Braces Beta and the Greaves Beta. So if you want to eat a lot of steaks, there you go. This one also has a free 2 slot, which is pretty interesting. Actually, I think one of the other ones might have as well. So we already had maxed out Counter-Strike and maxed out Maximite, so your free 2 slot can go to whatever you want. Probably Ambush is, I think, the last good thing on the list, but, up to you. And finally, closing us off is Shia. This one has a really nice attack, and I think comparable to the build to the Ray Dallas Voltage 4 build that I had in my last video, Thunderous War 2, Ray Dallas Voltage 4. So this one is the Numinous Shroud Alpha and the Numinous Greaves Beta. I think you can swap the Alpha and Beta the other way around as well to be the exact same build. So if you have the other one upgraded, you can swap you can have the Numinous Shroud Beta and the Greaves Alpha to be exact same. And yeah, this one uses the Latent Power Charm as well, which helps boost it up a bit higher. And you get Super Recovery 1, which recovers your health even if your health is fully green, so it helps keep you topped up that way. And has some nice damage and Element Absorption 1, which is nice too. So yeah, this set is actually, I think, very, very good, and I should probably build this myself. Why is this dude standing in my way in the screen right now? Anyways, that doesn't matter. I think that is actually all of the builds. We have started with A and ended with C, which is nice. And so those are the 20 builds I wanted to cover today, which goes through every single set bonus, except for, I guess, the Thunderous War 1, which are in all of the builds. So yeah, with that being said, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. 2 quick notes. 1, I forgot to mention in my last video that LumaVault was a top tier subscriber, so thank you LumaVault, and also thank you Jack Bingham. The other thing is that at time of posting, this video will have no advertisements. They're basically approving at work if I can still be YouTube because of conflicts of interest. I think it'll be fine. I think they're just mostly worried about people like stealing secrets or like working for another company. I don't think they care if I'm making Monster Hunter videos online. So yeah, so because I'm going to have no ad rev from this video, I'd like to especially thank all of the subscribers and all the Patreon supporters here. So again, especially thank in the Loon Vault, but also everyone else. There's a lot of people to name, so please thank them if they're in the comments, and everyone else as well. And I'll be watching. Again, this is a hobby for me, so if you want to support, you can, but, you know, don't feel obligated to. I'm doing this for fun, not really for money or whatever else. But yeah, so again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.